Hey everyone, Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys my first review of 2026, first review of the year. And as you can see below the title, today we're going to be talking about one album I'm kind of been looking forward to today. And as you can see below the title, today we're going to be talking about the new Megadeth album, which is self-titled, which was released today under Frontiers Records. Now, I don't think I really need to say anything about Megadeth that hasn't been said already. And I'm pretty sure everybody knows who they are. Thrash metal band from California, been around since 1983. And Megadeth for me are one of my all-time favorite bands since first getting into metal. And for those of you who don't know, Rest in Peace by Megadeth is my all-time favorite record. Nothing will ever top this. And overall, this is the band's 17th and, well, possibly this is actually going to be their final studio album because they're actually retiring after this album. This follows up their previous album, which came out in 2022, The Sick, the Dying, the Dead, which I thought that was an okay album. But here we are with their new self-titled album. Does it live up or exceed what The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead has? In my honest opinion, I think it definitely has. I feel like they kind of stepped it up in terms of like the musicianship and the production and everything. The production on this album is great. I feel like Megadeth can do no wrong with production, and of course Megadeth part of the Big Four, along with Metallica, Slayer, and Anthrax. And in my honest opinion, I feel like Megadeth is my favorite out of the Big Four in terms of the of like putting out albums and the consistency that they have. And 17 albums now is just, I feel like if this really is going to be the last Megadeth album, I feel like it's a pretty good way to end their run. Vocally, I think Dave Mustaine definitely sounds a little bit better. I know a few years ago, he was diagnosed with throat cancer, but even after that, I feel like he's gotten a lot better vocally a little bit. I know he has that kind of "hello me," that kind of voice, but then his guitar playing, I feel like really he just goes well. I feel like he comes with some really great riffs, and just the soloing on here is great. And same thing with the Teemu Mentasarti, the first album, well, now pretty much the only album with him, because know him for playing with Winter Sun. I think Teemu's guitar playing, it really shows really well. Oh, and I feel like he just has really great ability between Teemu and Dave's guitar playing is just really great. The bass on this album is pretty audible from James Lomenzo. First album since Endgame to feature James Lomenzo, because the last album, Steve DiGiorgio actually handled session bass because of David Ellison got kicked out for, well, I'm not going to go into the detail. Just Google it. You will find the answer there. But the bass on this album is really great. And drumming-wise, Dirk Verbeuren, I think, is a really great drummer. Pretty much handles the beat. So without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off is the song Tipping Point. Now, essentially, this song is great. I feel like the instrumentally is just really great. It sounds like a mixture of like those first four albums from Megadeth, from the song structure. And I feel like this song has sonically sounds like something from Killing Is My Business, Peace Sells, and So Far So Good So What, with the solos having a bit of that kind of like Rust in Peace kind of lead guitar sound. And I think Tipping Point is a really great way to start off this album. Now we go into I Don't Care. Now this song sounds more like Megadeth than Megadeth in my opinion. I just feel like from the past few Megadeth albums, well, good in their own right. I wouldn't say like Super Collider is just fucking garbage. I feel like this song is pretty good. Next up is Hey God. Now this album, this is where the album's first hint of reflection, as the lyrical content feels almost kind of like very personal, but it has like that true Megadeth style and the tones and the riff structure on there. It definitely sounds like something from like the mid to late 90s Megadeth. It's right here. Let There Be Shred. Now, I love this song. This is pretty much one of the highlights on the album, in my opinion. And I feel like they really can tell they put a lot of passion into the song. I feel like the part where everything slows down, the song gets kind of groovy. And I feel like that part is just peak headbanging material. And then there's just the shreddingness and just, I don't know, it's just an amazing song. Puppet Parade. Now, this is hands down the album sort of like like, I don't know, no, Opus right here. And I feel like it's one of the most quintessential Megadeth songs on there. I feel like the favorite parts on here are sort of like the guitars, and they feel like purposeful and personal. It's just me. Um, Next up is Another Bad Day. Now, which again has some really great experience and really great proficient musicianship. And I feel like there is like a formula, but I feel like it's far from stagnated. It sort of manages to keep very fresh and just in your face. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a good song. Next up is Made to Kill. Now, Made to Kill has really great leads in there and just very an anarchy kind of vibe with it. Obey the Call. Now, this song kind of goes back to something kind of like in Countdown to Extinction. And the album here at times makes you feel like you're being pulled through a time machine of the band's discography. And since this is the last album, I feel like it's just going through everything from Killing Is My Business to now with the self-titled I Am War. Now, this song, like the more you listen to it, I just feel like you just wanting more and more to play it again. And then we get to The Last Note, which I feel like is the appropriate song for being the last Megadeth song we would ever hear. Now, this song fires through a real heart tug of an emotion because you feel like it's just the end right there. And it's just a pretty much a bold statement to end the album. And I just think that the song title alone, The Last Note, is just, I don't even know what to say. It's a great way to end this album and sort of Megadeth's run. But you think this is the end, but no. We actually have one more song to cover, and this was the one I was kind of curious to hear about, which is Ride the Lightning. Yep, Megadeth covered a Metallica song. Now, of course, Dave Mustaine helped co-write this song when he was with Metallica. Now, I feel like this version of this song is a wonderful touch, and I feel like it kind of like goes in full circle because, Dave Mustaine was in Metallica. If he hadn't, and in a weird way, I kind of give Metallica some props because if they hadn't kicked Dave Mustaine out, we wouldn't have Megadeth, another great band. I know there's always that Metallica versus Megadeth fans. Like some people love Metallica, hate Megadeth, and vice versa, and I'm sort of the one in the middle. Like, can we all just get along? But the Ride the Lightning cover is pretty good album. I know some people will disagree with it, but to each in their own, I suppose. Overall, Megadeth by Megadeth, good album. And if this really is the final Megadeth album, then they really went out on this. So if I were to give this album a score, I'm going to give the self-titled Megadeth album a solid 8.5 out of 10. So that's my review of the new Megadeth album, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.